Hey you guys, Bruce Crook has proved to be a tremendous coach for my long line casting abilities, and now he's doing a special series with Swing the Fly magazine with some spey casting stuff that you have never heard before probably, and it costs very minimal to become a subscriber to Swing the Fly, but I strongly suggest if you want to learn some new cool stuff, subscribe to Swing the Fly, get Bruce's new series. I'm recommending the electronic subscription because it's a video series. It's gonna be fabulous. He has helped me with this long line stuff more than anybody, and it's really put my casting on a higher level. So do that. You will not be disappointed. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about to dip or not to dip, because Simon Gosworth made a single spey video where he talked about the lift and then dipping the rod and coming back up for the sweep and the circle up. Well, there was some commentary that some people were confused, and they said, well, Zach and Bruce said there is no dip, and so it brought some confusion. And then they were confused about, well, you say to dip for the single spey but not for the double spey, so what's up with that? So to figure all this out, we have to go to Robert Gillespie's golden rule of spey casting, which is once the rod tip passes your position, which is right here, it has to go up in an incline path or in a curve, a climbing curve. The rod tip has to go up in a climbing curve or an inclined path. Once it passes your position, which is here, it must be going up. So with the golden rule in mind, now we reverse engineer the cast to find out if we need to dip or not. So spoiler alert, whatever you say you're doing, you're for the single spey, unless you're doing Robert Gillespie's incline drill, you are most certainly, if you track the rod tip, you're lifting, and then there is a dip after the lift if you track the rod tip. So whether we say it's a dip or not is one thing, but in actuality, there is a dip. So what happens is, for the way I do it, and what helps me, is after the lift, see, I'm lifting towards the target, then when I sweep, I lay my rod on the side more, and then begin the sweep, and it must come up after, rod tip must come up after it passes my shoulder. Okay, so what will help you is to keep in mind that if you dip after the lift, it kind of doesn't matter because your fly is still attached to the water. As long as the fly's still attached to the water, everything that happened before that is kind of a moot point when it comes to the dipping part, okay? So, see, I lift, and then I lay my rod tip on its side and push out with my bottom hand. And since the fly is still on the water, it doesn't really matter, you know? Okay? So yes, there is a dip, but I like to make it happen while the line is still attached to the water. So when I sweep and I see this angle right there that my line's doing, the line lifts up like this, okay? And it comes from where it's attached to the water, up like this for the sweep, or actually a little higher. This angle, this angle here, about like this. That's my imaginary line. I see my fly line right there. When I see this right here, that's the angle I try to maintain for the sweep. My line right there. Not that. So, yes, there is a dip, but I like to do it while the line is still attached because I don't like my movements to be too erratic. I don't want to go up too, if you lift too high, then in order to get in line set up for the golden rule of the rod tip rising after it passes me, if I lift too high, then I'm in trouble because then I got to dip really low to get to here so I can lift up again, okay? So I like to do it really smooth. Lift, sweep, drift, boom. So where I get in trouble is when I start doing too much of this after the fly has left the water. So that's how I do it. And the reason we do it for the single spey and not the double spey is because our rod tip starts low with the double spey, or if it if you want to start it high, see? So for the double spey, my rod tip's down here. So then I can sweep going up, 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 up. Okay, the whole time I can go up. Or if I start with it high, like this, I might dip down just a little bit, but I got all this time to do it out, around, and then I can go up when I pass my shoulder and cast, if that makes any sense. The single spey, it's all about the lift, getting the line out of the water, because if you don't lift high enough on your single spey, if you just lift here, when you do push it out of the water, you're going to get a bunch of resistance and stuff. You got to get it high enough to where it comes out of the water without creating slack. So lift, and then there is a little dip, but then it comes up again, and then you cast. So that is probably as clear as mud, but hopefully that will clear things up for you, or not.